Hi, my name is Brian Bargould, and in this video I'm going to discuss with you 5 essential ways to communicate with your staff and outsource workers. As an executive of a busy company, I find that communication is one of the things that we have to master, because otherwise we're just never going to succeed. Our clients are spread all over the world: Hong Kong, China, Australia, the UK, France, Los Angeles, America, South Africa, and so are my staff. We can be as far apart as 13 hours. So at a given time, it can be midnight in one country and early morning in another country. So the 5 essential tools that we use are Skype, email, audio messages, video messages, and the enterprise management system. And I'd like to go through them one by one, and for each item I will list its strengths, weaknesses, and how we use it. So the first one is Skype. Now, for Skype, we use it, if you know Skype, it's for voice over the internet, and it's very good. You use your iPhone, your iPad, your computer, you talk to another person who's got Skype on his device or his computer, and off you go. It's a very, very good way to communicate, as long as you have good bandwidth. That can be a problem depending on where you are. Some countries have good bandwidth, some don't. One step up from using voice on Skype is to use video on Skype. Again, very useful. You can see each other. You can hold an item that you're designing and making in front of the camera. You can discuss defects with it or modifications that you want to do. You can even sometimes share your screen, and it's not really the best use of Skype. It's got some limitations, but it's something that you can do. You can also do group calls over the internet. Just the other day I had a group call, and it was me in Thailand, Steve was in the UK, Middlesbrough, Mitch was in the Philippines, and Dai was in South Africa, and all of us simultaneously were in a group chat, typing away and resolving several issues relating to a product and a website that we're working on. Another use of Skype is just leave a message, like, I don't know, call me at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it pops up on their desktop on their Skype, providing again that their Skype is running. Finally, one use of Skype that I use very often is when I'm calling someone in a country that doesn't have Skype or has bad internet, or maybe the internet is down that day. So then I use my Skype to call their mobile or their landline. And I'll do that because well, for example, if I was in the UK and I telephoned the mobile in Thailand, I think it would cost me like 60 pence a minute. That's almost $1 a minute. That's a lot of money. But if I use Skype, it's 7p a minute to call a landline or a mobile. That's like 10 times cheaper. If I'm calling America on a landline, it's only, I think, 1 cent or 2 cents per minute. And again, that's much, much cheaper than calling a landline with your own mobile phone. Now, the second thing that we use to communicate is emails. Now, it has some limitations. It's not good if you're sending and receiving lots of messages. I know that my partner in Hong Kong gets about 3 gigabytes of messages on in his mailbox every quarter. And that is in excess of what Outlook or any systems that we're aware of can manage. And so every so often our technicians have to come and archive all those emails and start them all over again. And the big thing I don't like about emails is problems with accountability. How many times you've heard, I didn't get an email, I didn't get your email. Really? You sent me an email? I've looked all over. No, I can't find it. And equally, it works the opposite way around. I mean, maybe it's true that they did the work and they sent it to you, but maybe it's not true. I sent the email already, didn't you get it? Wow! It's a constant pain. And finally, I've referred to it before, filing and organizing lots of emails is a bit difficult. I used to be able to manage it when I was running BarPlus in the UK, but I was using Outlook and Office 2004 to 2006, but afterwards they made Office so clever, I have no idea how to use a new version of Outlook. All I know is it became very difficult for me. Audio messages. Now, audio messages is a very good way to communicate with staff. They're often, I might be driving a car or in a shopping center or at an airport or doing something whereby I just don't have the time to sit down, gather my thoughts, compose an email, write an email, send an email, etc., etc., etc. In those instances, the thing that is a lifesaver for me is my iPhone. On my iPhone, I have an app. It's called Say It, Mail It. It's very simple. Press once, talk away. Press the second time, mail it. And the only additional thing you have to say is mail it to whom. And often when I mail it, I mail myself a copy. So I know that they've got it and I've got it, and it's there for the record. It's amazingly useful because it's just so convenient. If you happen to be sat in your office or with access to a computer, then most computers have QuickTime installed. I know the Macs do, and my PC does. And I don't even remember installing it, but as far as I know, most computers have QuickTime on, and there's a facility there to record audio. So you just turn it on, record your audio, save it, it's a file, and then you just email it. So that's another handy way that you can communicate to someone very rapidly. A fourth way that we use is video, exactly the same kind of video that I'm making right now. You could, in fact, be a member of my company, a director, a shareholder, a customer, whatever, and I'll make a video and I'll talk to you as I'm talking to the camera right now. It's convenient for us because we are a media company. We have our own studio. I just come in, turn on the lights, camera is already ready, just everything switched on, turn it on, sit in front, start to talk. And if there's any hassle at all, which it isn't, it's just simply taking the SD card out of the camera, plugging it into the computer, swapping it across to the computer and emailing it. Now, 90% of all communication is body language, and I've asked my staff to comment as to what do they think, because at first I thought it might be an eccentric way of communicating with staff, but my staff's feedback has been that it's as if I'm there in the room with them, and in fact they would prefer me to send them a video email than a long, complicated email which they've got to read through and read through and read through and try and figure out exactly what I meant, whereas in fact when I'm communicating freely like this, they can understand better what it is that I mean. Now finally is the biggie, the thing that holds the whole thing together. And we call it, for us, it's the enterprise management system. We call it the Keystone EMS. In our company, we have certain things that we need to use, without which you'll hear me say the phrase, if we don't do it this way, we'll either fail or die trying. And whenever it's in that category, we call it Keystone, and Keystone, whatever the particular thing is. In this case, Keystone EMS. Now, there are other products out there that do the same. And I would like to just quickly refer to a few of them. So, for example, what is an enterprise management system? Well, one example of an enterprise management system that's known and used by lots of people is called Basecamp. And I'm looking right now at their website, and rather than me come up with a description of what Basecamp is, let's paraphrase them. So it's a service that you use, and this service allows you to it gives every project has got a place, a name, and a description. It's a place using Basecamp in your account where you can have discussions and decisions, and all the feedback is centralized. It's a place where everything that needs to be done is kept in one place. It's a secure repository for all your images and files, and every idea, concept, etc. is saved on Basecamp. And then if I go back to my own notes, there are other alternatives. I mean, you could just Google alternatives to Basecamp, but others that I'll tell you right now that I've used and don't anymore are TouchBase, OutView, and different forum platforms. Now, the thing to look for, why do you need this? You need this because you need accountability. You need to be able to do stuff and know who's doing what, and you need it all in one place. But before I get into that, let me tell you what are the things to look for. The problem with these EMSs is some are expensive. If they're not expensive, they have subscription fees, and I absolutely hate subscription fees. I don't care if it's $5 a month or $15 a month or $99 a month. I don't want to be nickeled and dimed to death with 100 different subscription fees. I don't like limitations that are incurred when you are buying them or using these services with subscription fees, because it might be, for example, sound very cheap, $15 a month, but you can only do 10 projects. Well, we're doing a lot more than 10 projects, so then you have to step up, and you keep bouncing off limitations, whether it's the amount of storage or bandwidth or whatever. Sometimes they're complicated. I've used some of these systems, and I can tell you I've spent sometimes 40 minutes just trying to find out where I'm supposed to put something, or how do I even find it. Other limitations are, some are basically company to customer solutions, therefore your company to communicate with your customers. And others are solutions whereby you can communicate with your outsources. And the final thing I'll say to watch out for is, invariably, if you cancel your subscription, everything that you ever put within that system is effectively lost to you, and you can't access it. So it's there intentionally. It's called technically pain to disconnect. They want you to feel the pain when you disconnect, and that's why you won't disconnect. So once you're in, sometimes it's very tricky for you to get out. Well, none of those solutions were good enough for us in the end. What I didn't like was either they were very expensive or they were subscription-based, and I didn't like the idea of losing all that information if we terminated the subscription. So in our case, we came up with a solution that gave us the ability to communicate with clients, with our accounts, with our staff, with our outsource workers that are different to our full-time paid staff, to have an area where we can discuss things that are of a technical nature, an area where we can discuss things that are research related, so we can have a project. The project can, for example, be to research everything about Braille watches, and put all of that research in one particular part of our EMS. And we can set up completely separate company departments, and so on and so forth. It's almost infinitely flexible. We have absolutely no limitations. It's a one-off setup. It's a one-off setup fee for buying a license. In our case, what we've done is we've modified the ViVE Bulletin Forum. Why did we do that? Well, you know, if several million people are using that forum as a platform, it means it's rather solid and works. And given the scope of what we're doing, I don't want to save myself $10 and buy myself a $1,000 headache. So I went for a very, very good platform. But then what we did, we spent hundreds of hours deciding exactly how best to use this platform and how best to modify this platform until we came up with a solution. It wasn't perfect at first, but by golly, right now, if we didn't use it, we'd be in a real mess. So it's perfect for us right now, and that's what we use. So there we are. We have 5 systems, that we use to communicate with staff, with customers, with outsource workers and everyone, and it's Skype, email, audio, video, and an EMS. We'll transcribe this video and put it down below, and that way you can refer to it. And I'll put some links to various sites to give you some additional insight. I'll even put you, I'll paste the same mind map into the body of the post so that you can see exactly what I was referring to when we were having the chat. So I hope that you found this video useful, and look forward to you joining me on my next netcast. Thank you very much.